Hola y buenos días. Yo soy el señor Morris. Soy el maestro de español. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Today, we'll begin with a spelling activity. Then we'll review the mammals that we talked about last time, and we'll talk about the names of some other mammals. Did you think of some? But let's get started, as we always do, with our opening song. Canten conmigo. Hola, hola, buenos días, bienvenidos, ¿cómo están? Todos juntos ya estamos listos para aprender. Muy bien cantado. Now, as I said, we'll start today's lesson with the spelling dictation activity. So I'd like you all to review the alphabet with this video, try to say all of the letters along with the video. And get your pen and paper or pencil out. Ahora, pongan atención y repitan todos.
A, B, C, Ch, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, A, M, N, N, O, P, Q, R, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
Hey, say. Okay, I think I heard some of you guys saying the alphabet along with the video. That's great. Remember, practice makes perfect. Ahora, saquen papel y lápiz o pluma para escribir estas palabras. I'm going to go ahead and tell you a word, and I'd like you to listen carefully and try to write the word down, okay? Now, the first word, and listen first, okay? Listen the first time, is pelo. Pelo. How many syllables? Pelo. So you know it's going to have at least how many vowels? Okay, and now listen to the vowels. Pe, lo. E, o. And then you can probably figure out the consonants. Pe, lo. Go ahead and write it down. Pelo. Did you get this word? Pelo. P, E, L, O. Pelo. 2 syllables, 2 vowels. E, O. Let's try another one. How about this? Vaca. Vaca. How many syllables? And listen to the vowel sound. Vaca. Okay, now figure out the consonant sound. Va, ca. Did you get it? How about this? Did you write down vaca? B corta, V, vaca. A, C, A, vaca. All right, let's try another one then. This one's a little tougher, okay? So listen carefully. Perro, perro, perro. Okay. How many syllables? Perro. Okay. You know how many syllables? Listen to the vowel sounds. Pe, e, ro. Okay? Now listen to the consonants. P, pe, ro. And I kind of overdid it that time to help you. Perro. Did you get this one? How about this? Perro. Pe, e, pe, r. That's the double R. Ro. Perro. Did you get that one? Okay. Now I'm sure that all of you noticed that these are words that we were discussing in our last lesson when we were talking about the names of some of the mammals. Let's go ahead and start by reviewing what we talked about last class. Okay? You remember we said that mamíferos tienen garras. They all have claws or fingernails or hooves of some type. Garras are claws. También tienen pelo. Now we all have this on the top of our head. And if you look, you probably have it on your arms too. Now remember, if it's on top of your head, it's called cabello. And we talked about that when we were talking about the parts of the body. Cabello. But all the other hairs are called pelos. Pelos. And that kind of means fur too, for the animals. Well, let's see if we can do this. Ready? Nombra algunos mamíferos. Nombra algunos mamíferos. And here's one that we looked at last time. Now, the first one that we looked at was this one. Do you remember? Sure, this is a dog in English. Do you remember what it's called in Spanish? I'll give you a hint. It was one of our spelling words today. A la una, a las dos, a las tres. Perro. Perro. Now, when you say this word, be sure that you get the double R sound in there. Perro. Because if you just put a single R, pero, that means but, as in, but I meant to go to school today. So you want to make sure you roll the double R. Perro. Can everybody say that? This animal, cute little thing playing with a ball of yarn there. This was the one that we said was like the game of tic-tac-toe. Do you remember what this is? Raise your hand and tell your teacher. A la una, a las dos, a las tres. Gato. Gato. Okay. This animal. Okay. Now this one's kind of a cognate. Remember? The last two letters are kind of turned around. Raise your hand and tell your teacher. A la una, a las dos, a las tres. Tigre. Un tigre. This one, oh, the king of beasts, is also kind of a cognate. All right? Do you remember this? Raise your hand and tell your teacher. A la una, a las dos, a las tres. León. Es un león. How about this one? Oh, now remember, this was another one of our spelling words today. Do you remember what it's called? This one isn't a cognate at all, is it? Raise your hand and tell your teacher. A la una, a las dos, a las tres. Vaca. Vaca. All right, hopefully you remember that one. Ah, this animal. Okay, now, I told you last class that the name of this one is kind of like what we call the hair on our head. Remember? We call the hair on our head cabello. What is this one called? Raise your hand. Tell your teacher. A la una, a las dos, a las tres. Caballo. Caballo. Instead of cabello. Now, those were the animals that we talked about in our last lesson. Today, I'm going to tell you to do something else. Nombra otros mamíferos. Nombra otros mamíferos. Now, last time we said nombra algunos mamíferos. And we decided that that meant name some animals. Well, this time we see name and mammals. Does anyone want to guess what otros means? Nombra otros mamíferos. It means other. So, name other mammals. Can you think of any other mammals that we haven't named yet? There are a lot of them. Raise your hand and tell your teacher. And teachers, if you want to put me on hold while you discuss this in your class, I bet your students can come up with a lot of mammals. Here are some that I thought of. The first one here. Yeah, big old animal. Lives there in the forest. Yeah. What is it in English? A bear. Y en español es un oso. Oso. You might want to copy this down into your Spanish notebook. Oso. How about this animal? Yeah, you see it here? It looks like it's chewing on a stick. Yeah, that's what they're kind of known for. They have that big flat tail. What is it in English? A beaver. Y en español es un castor. Castor. Yeah, you might want to jot that one down in your notebooks. That one's not a cognate. It's kind of one you have to kind of learn, isn't it? But this animal here, oh yeah. What is this in English? Elephant, right. Well, this one's real easy in Spanish. Es un elefante. Go ahead and jot that down into your notebooks. Elefante. Yeah. Well, that one's pretty easy, isn't it? As is this next one. Oh, here he is. It howls at the moon. Ooh! Ooh! It howls at the moon. In English, it's called a coyote, right? En español es un coyote. Remember to always pronounce those vowel sounds the same. Make that O real round. Coyote. Un coyote. Right now, I'd like to show you a poem about another mammal. Now, the poem is called Tengo, Tengo, Tengo. And tengo means I have, so the poem is called I have, I have, I have. And the poem goes like this, okay? Starts off, Tengo, tengo, tengo. I have, I have, I have. Tú no tienes nada. You don't have anything. Tengo tres ovejas. I have three ovejas, or sheep. I have 3 sheep, and una cabaña. They're in my little hut, okay? Una me da leche. One gives me leche, or milk. Otra me da lana. Another one gives me wool, lana. Y otra me mantiene. And the other one maintains me, or takes care of me, toda la semana. Toda la semana? You guys can figure that one out. All the week. Okay. Well, that's how it goes. That's what it means. Let's go ahead and say it together now. Okay, you guys ready? It goes like this. Tengo, tengo, tengo. Tú no tienes nada. Tengo 3 ovejas en una cabaña. Una me da leche, otra me da lana y otra me mantiene toda la semana. You can try jumping rope to that one if you'd like. But for right now, saquen la hoja de actividades llamada ¿Cuántos animales hay? ¿Cuántos animales hay? How many animals are there? Well, let's see. Go ahead and start off by putting your name up at the top. Roberto. It says, answer the questions by counting how many of each animal you find in the picture. Okay? Here's the picture. We got a forest, el bosque. And the first question is, ¿Cuántos osos hay? Do you remember what osos are? Osos are the bears. So let's see. Un oso. Dos osos. Tres osos. So I can write my answer here. Tres. Tres. Now, this is a graphing activity. So once you've counted how many of the animals are, and you see there's questions. ¿Cuántos castores hay? Aquí está un castor. ¿Cuántos caballos hay? Aquí está un caballo. ¿Cuántos coyotes hay? Oh, I see one up here. Hay un coyote aquí. Count up and write your answers here. Now, once you finish that, down at the bottom it says, graph the number of each animal found in the picture above. Well, now here's a graph, and you guys are probably working on graphs in your classrooms, okay? Over here we have número, or number, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And down here we have tipo de animal, or type of animal. Well, now the one we just did was osos. And how many did we say there were? Tres. So what we're going to do is come down here to our graph and count up. 1, 2, 3. So our bar graph, which is what this is going to come up to 3 for osos. And we're going to color that in for the osos. Okay? Now, once you figure out how many castores hay, you can come over here and mark the number and then shade it in, or caballos, or coyotes. Okay? And that'll give you a chance to go over your numbers in Spanish, go over the different animals that we've been talking about, some of them, and it'll also give you a chance to work on your graphing skills. Okay? So you guys go ahead and do that. If you need some help, I'm sure that your teacher can help you with that. Teachers are pretty good at this kind of thing. Okay? Whenever your teacher gives you a chance, go ahead and finish that up. Maybe you can work with one of your friends. Today, we reviewed the names of mamíferos that we talked about last class, and we learned some more names for mamíferos, or mammals, and then we learned a poem about ovejas, or sheep. Next class, we'll talk about some members of another animal group. Pero saben que ya es hora de despedirnos. Okay? For our goodbye song today, let's sing the song called De Colores. Now this song is a little bit longer, but it's a beautiful song, and I hope you guys are getting to the point where you can sing it with me. Canten conmigo. De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores son los pajarillos que vienen de afuera. De colores es el arco iris que vemos lucir, y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Now we're going to start singing about some animals. Canta el gallo con el kiri, 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 kiri. La gallina con el cara, 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 cara. Los polluelos con el pío, 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 pío. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. We're going to keep talking about animals in our next lesson, so I hope you guys can get ready and review what we've already done. Until our next class. Adiós y hasta luego. Y por eso...